Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
The January 22nd, 2013 meeting of the Newark Public Schools Advisory Board is now called to order.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. In accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act and JSA 1046 et sec, adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by advertising in the Star Ledger, El Nuevo Coquí, Haiti Progress, and Luz Americana newspapers, and by distribution to the administrative offices of the Newark Public Schools. A copy of this meeting notice was also forwarded to City Hall for posting. This is a regular advisory board meeting for Tuesday night, January 22nd, 2013.
We will now stand for the flag salute, and we will remain standing for the Star-Spangled Banner.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hey, girlie. Oh, we're supposed to remain standing.
We will now have greetings and student recognitions. Oh, I'm sorry, I always forget the roll call. I'm sorry.
Mr. Jeffries. Mr. Kenny.
Here.
Dr. Lamore.
Here.
Mr. Lewis.
Here.
Ms. Mattias.
Here.
Dr. McCreary.
Here.
Ms. Perello.
Here.
Ms. Pinto-Marin. Chair Baskerville-Richardson.
Here.
Quorum is present.
Thank you. We will now have greetings and student recognition by University High School Principal, Mr. Henry McNair.
Thank you, Ms. Baskerville. On behalf of the University High School chorus, band members, my esteemed Vice Principal, Miss Regina Sharp, Mr. Davis Quatari, on behalf of my parents, students, and community members, I'd like to welcome you all out to our school and thank you for attending this very auspicious evening. So once again, thank you and welcome to all of our friends, families, and dignitaries. Welcome. I would like to begin by honoring a few members of our student body. This is the first time ever we've had the Miss University High School pageant, with the criteria being a University High School student with a 2.5 or better, good standing with school administration, staff members, and peers, and a record free of suspension and good attendance. There are several runners-ups here. I would like them to stand and wave if they're in attendance. Senior student Lauren Hill Beaton, junior student Odalis Romero, and sophomore Nakaya Lucas. Now, without any further ado, the winners of the first annual University High School Miss University pageant were Miss University High School with a GPA of 2.8, favorite subjects being math, science, and AP biology, who also gives back a tutoring program at her elementary school, Lincoln High School, and also assists with their debate team. We have senior student Nadira Walker. Next, we have Miss Junior with a cumulative GPA of 3.2. Favorite subjects are physics, history, and biology, who is a member of the School Honor Roll Program, recipient of NJIT's Most Improved Acting Award, enrolled in the Upper Brown Program, as well as a member of the UHS Nurses Program. We have Kiana Shaddad. For Miss Sophomore, with a GPA of 3.25, favorite subject being algebra. In her free time, she tutors students, her classmates, in mathematics and literacy, as well as participates in cheerleading and outdoor track. We have sophomore student Anaya Carter. And lastly, I don't believe she's in attendance this evening due to a prior engagement. For the Most Talent Award, we have junior student with a 3.0 GPA, favorite subject being AP English, and the secretary of our National Honor Society, we have Amber Brown Kelly. Lastly, I would just like to say on behalf of myself, my administrative team, my student body, my teaching staff, as well as our community partners and parents, I would like to welcome Superintendent Anderson, advisory board members, other dignitary to our school. Hoping you enjoy your evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It is wonderful to see University High School not only as a school that achieves high academically, but as a school with a very full school life and a wonderful culture. So thank you, Mr. McNair, and thank you, staff and students of University High School. We will now move to the approval of minutes, item 5 on the agenda.
Yeah, Madam Chair, I would suggest that we take the December 18th, 2012 minutes, and then perhaps the November minutes separately.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I was in attendance on the 20th of November, so I don't see my name up here.
I'm sorry, you said your name is not appearing in the minutes?
Yes, it's not reflected in the minutes.
Mr. Kenny, you want to amend the minutes to reflect that you were in attendance at that meeting, correct?
Yes.
We'll make that happen.
Okay, so may we have a motion to accept the minutes for November 20th and November 27th with the amendment that Altariq Kenny's name be added to the November 20th minutes? Is there a
Motion.
Ms. Matthias, is there a second? Mr. Jeffries?
Okay, so this is a motion to approve the minutes in November with the Kenny amendment moved by Ms. Matthias, second by Mr. Jeffries. Mr. Jeffries? Mr. Kenny?
Yes.
Dr. Lamore?
Yes.
Mr. Lewis? Ms. Matthias?
Yes.
Dr. McCreary?
Yes.
Ms. Perrello? Ms. Baskel-Richardson?
Yes.
Motion carries.
And may we now have a motion to accept the December 18th, 2012 minutes? Is there a motion?
Motion.
Ms. Matthias, second? Okay, second, Ms. Perillo.
Motion to approve the December 18th regular advisory board meeting moved by Ms. Matthias, second by Ms. Perillo. Mr. Jeffries? Mr. Kenny?
Yes.
Dr. Lamore?
Yes.
Mr. Lewis?
Yes.
Ms. Matthias?
Yes.
Dr. McCreary?
Yes.
Ms. Perrello?
Yes.
Ms. Baskel-Richardson?
Yes.
Motion carries. Minutes approved.
Thank you. We will now move to the advisory board chair's remarks for today, January 22nd, 2013. Again, good evening to everyone, parents, students, staff, administrators, concerned community members, and of course, Superintendent Anderson. This is the first regular meeting of the Newark Public Schools Advisory Board for 2013. So on behalf of the board, I wish the entire Newark Public Schools community a happy and productive 2013. Schools around the country were closed yesterday in memory of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And also yesterday, our president, Barack Obama, was sworn into a historic second term as President of the United States. We look forward to the second term of President Obama, and we encourage our students to follow the issues of his presidency, which are the issues of our country. Remember that the issues that our president is dealing with today will affect you for the rest of your lives. To our students, the school year is only half over. While that might make you groan, it also means that you have 5 months left to get better grades, improve your GPA, and live up to all of those promises that you made to yourselves and to your families in September. If you're doing the right thing, congratulations. And if you need to improve, it's not too late. It's never too late. And on a sadder note, I must again note that we lost a student 2 weeks ago. Westside High School student Raheem Neal fell victim to senseless violence. And is Donna Jackson here? Okay, when she comes in, I will just repeat this briefly, but I want to recognize Donna Jackson, who it was reported to me worked tirelessly to assist Raheem's family in their time of need. I know that she will say that's just what I do, but I still wanted to take a moment and give that recognition for that extra effort. Of course, we will have a moment of silence, but first, there's something to be said, and that is that this community, the school system, and this board are tired of burying our young. It is time for the State Department of Education, Newark Public Schools to focus resources to create more viable alternatives and offer more meaningful services to families, and to do all of the things that we know will work, but can only work if the state and the city and the school system and the community are in sync. We're talking about expanding after-school and extended day programs that are funded to support the kinds of activities that students, parents, and school leaders want. We're talking about keeping our young people alive. We're talking about the fact that no child in this city is safe unless every child is under the umbrella of care that a home and a school should provide. The question is, what are we really going to do about it? I'm ready for the conversation. The board is ready for the conversation. I know that the community is ready for the conversation. I trust that the district is ready for the conversation. At this time, may we please have a moment of silence for Raheem Neal. Thank you. And again, thank you. That is the end of my presentation for this evening. We will now move to parent recognition from the Constituent Services Committee. And, you know, I'm sorry, guys, but I just know we're all tired of burying children. So, I hate to sound so grim, but I think there's hope for the future, and I'm just going to leave it like that. Parental recognition, Constituent Services Committee. Mr. Kinney.
First, I'd like to acknowledge Mr. McNair, one of the principals who decided to keep his school open from 7 o'clock a.m. to 9 o'clock p.m. on any given night, 6 days of the week. He is one of those individuals that you're referring to, and his team is one of those individuals that you're referring to in terms of making sure the community have resources and programs that build self-esteem, academic excellence, as well as through recreation and other programs of the like. So I'd like to thank them for just being something in this community what the community needs and reflects the type of program that can keep our young people in a safe, productive environment. Each day throughout the district, hundreds of parents are making a difference in our schools, supporting their children's academic success by volunteering. The Newark Public Schools Advisory Board Community Relations Committee wishes to recognize and express its appreciation to those parents and community members who devote their time, share their talents and resources with children, staff, and administrators to improve the quality of our schools and the lives of our children. Each month, this board will continue to recognize parents, guardians who support our district-wide parental involvement program consisting of activities focused on parenting, communicating, volunteering, learning at home, decision-making, and community involvement. Nominated by their child's school administration, we are proud to announce tonight's award recipients. Honorees include Sabrina Ginyard from Speedway School. Can you come up, please? Can you stand, come to the front? Ms. Arcelius Torres from Luis Munoz Marin School. Ms. Maria Ray Bioro from Science Park High School. Rebecca Jeter from John F. Kennedy School. And Shaka Gorham from South 17th Street School. Can you please give these people a round of applause for volunteering to make sure our children have a quality education? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, parents, for your participation. We will now move to item 8 on the agenda, which is the State District Superintendent's Report, and the board, we're going to have to move down for that.
And can I ask a favor that when we move down, do you all mind just being together, like, in that section?
That section?
Yeah. Is that all right? Like, the first couple rows of the one on the left, if that's all right. Is that all right? Good evening. Before I go into my presentation, I asked the board to sit together because I wanted to recognize them. The people may or may not have photo, but just so we can keep with the agenda. Is that all right? Great. Okay, this month, we are focusing this month on all of our priorities, and we want to just give a quick update about some of the training pieces that we put in place at NPS. And for the purposes of tonight, we're focusing primarily on some of the training pieces we put in place for principals, vice principals, and teachers, and apparently we're changing the PowerPoint. So I'll summarize verbally while we're looking for the PowerPoint. Basically, this year, it's cool, thank you, I got it. We put in place 3 distinct but important structures around training and support, actually 4, for principals, for vice principals, for parent liaisons and parent coordinators, and for teachers. And all of those trainings and gatherings have been rolling out over the course of last year and into this year. Most people know that the Principals Leadership Institute meets once a month. The focus of those meetings have been primarily around instructional leadership, around setting goals using student achievement data, and on positive climate and culture that encompasses things like we've seen here tonight. We've talked about leadership practices, we've talked about student learning, and recently, the board knows, but important for the community to know, we've extended those offerings to the whole cabinet of schools, department chairs, vice principals, other leaders. Similarly, we've worked with school leadership teams to talk about the leadership framework pieces we want to see in place, which include some of the things that may be harder to measure but are critically important, like school culture and social emotional learning, and aligning that with some very specific academic measures, and together that's how we're working with principals. It's partly based on quantitative data, but also based on some of the really important elements that we've talked about tonight, and I support the chair's remarks regarding social emotional learning, and that's where we see these things coming together in evaluating a principal. The process has been tightened considerably this year. Each one of our assistant superintendents has between 12 and 18 schools, depending on those schools' needs, and each assistant superintendent sets some very specific goals, is doing a mid-year review, and will also have an end-of-the-year conversation. And all those conversations will be according to some of these same data points. Our goals for our leadership support training have to do with the leadership framework. Again, these are competencies we've talked about before, for making sure the school is advancing their goals, the unique goals, and making sure they're making progress on their academic targets. That's the kind of basis of those conversations. We got a lot of feedback from department chairs and vice principals and other supervisors at the school that they wanted that kind of learning space too. And while the principals are doing a lot to do school-based training, they felt they wanted an opportunity to step outside of their context and work across schools. So we've now started doing similar training with our vice principals. Similarly, Ms. Morris and her team have launched a year-long training series for parent liaisons that is focused on those 6 keys that the constituent services group focuses on every month. And then finally, teachers have also been meeting in something we call the Teacher Leadership Institute. And the Teacher Leadership Institute has primarily been focused around the Common Core. We've talked a lot about curriculum and how the Common Core is, being rolled out. So the Common Core foci, we've divided up into early childhood, middle school, high school around English language arts and math. And those teacher leadership groups have had an opportunity to look at some of the model curricula, to try those out at their school, and to come back and let us know how it's going, in addition to meeting with their principal and their vice principal. So, for example, in literacy, we've been doing a lot more work to ensure families are clear about what their students need to know. We're doing a whole series on the Common Core for families, so stay tuned for more on that. But in literacy, these are the things we're talking about with our teachers. Questions that require you to have text knowledge, an ability to have a close read of a text so that you go deeper than a close cursory read, vocabulary strategies, increasingly complex texts, and units that are aligned to really complex texts. These are all the things that Common Core is going to require of our students, and it's something we're working with our teachers. And then in math, it's a matter of focus. Remember, the Common Core is asking us to go narrower and deeper as opposed to covering everything. It's helping us to help students really master some key concepts. The TLI, the Teacher Leadership Institute, has had over 200 teacher leaders, and 90% of them have rated the sessions good or excellent, and 90% agree or strongly agree that the sessions will help them and their colleagues in implementing the Common Core. So we've gotten a lot of positive feedback. We have similar data from the principals and vice principals and the parent coordinators. But we figured the mid-year would be a good opportunity to update the community, the board, families on all of our efforts to improve and support our training for principals, vice principals, parent liaisons, parent coordinators, and teachers, and to see how all those things are linked. One final reminder, we have the citywide parent conference coming up on Friday, February 6th. Last year we had over 600 participants. There's been a committee involved in Thursday, sorry, thank you. Friday is in fact the 8th, so don't try to come on Friday the 7th. Thursday is the day. There's been a committee that's been planning this for over a year. Last year was action-packed. I know there were a lot of folks that were present. We're looking forward to another productive day, workshops, feedback sessions, family-led, district-led, community-based agency-led. There's a little bit for everyone, and the committee that has taken this on has really led the process of what will be covered. We invite all of you and hope to see you and your friends and neighbors on the 7th, which is indeed a Thursday. Madam Chair, that concludes my presentation, and I would invite the board to come back on stage, and if you don't mind, if we can take a quick pit stop to take a picture, that would be great.
I'd just like to say from the board, thank you, Superintendent Anderson, for the recognition. Board members do work very hard. What you see when you come to meetings is just one tiny fraction of what board members do. So thank you for that recognition. We will move to item 9, which is the report of the student representative. Mr. Angel Plaza.
Thank you. On Wednesday, January 9, 2013, the Student Leadership Group meeting We continue to have discussion about creating a new way to keep all students updated, perhaps through the Newark Public Schools website and e-boards. Each member of the student leadership group has committed to updating the information and keeping it current. We also shared ideas on developing a strategy for college planning. It is our hope that it can become a curriculum spread over 4 years of high school. Some of the topics discussed: students develop a college plan starting freshman year, have a senior/freshman mentor program, and help filling out financial aid, FAFSA, and college scholarship service, CSS. On our next meeting, we hope to have a representative from security in attendance to come discuss school safety and security. If they are unable to attend, we will brainstorm ideas and submit them to Mr. Freeman. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Plaza. Are there any questions for Mr. Plaza this evening? Yes, Mr. Kinney.
Madam Chair, I have a question for Angel, Mr. Plaza, I'm sorry. If a person is wanting to volunteer or become a volunteer in the district, I know this conversation is being broadcasted throughout the city of Newark. What steps do they need to do to become a volunteer in the district? Or is that something that, in terms of being a mentor, is that something that you guys are asking for?
When we came up with the idea about having a mentor program, it was something that actually I have down here, a requirement for all seniors, because from what you taught me and from many mentors I felt, we believe that, as a senior, it is your job to teach the next generation that is following your footsteps, which is why we felt as though like all seniors should come down and meet the freshmen, because I wish I had a senior who came and talked to me about college, about high school, anything personal. That's what I wanted. So we feel the same way that it should be implemented in high schools, because it does. Becoming a freshman in high school is a really big transition for some people. So they need that extra, support group, such as a senior, to help them and guide them through high school.
So
Thank
just
you.
one quick thing, which I always keep up on the recommendations coming out of the group, which I think are incredible, and really thank you for your leadership. If there's an individual who's a community member that's not in a school, there are a couple of organizations that provide, there's certain things you have to do, a background check and training, et cetera, and we can get you those links. That's for those who are, might be in the community but may not be actually in the school. With the student committee, and I'm happy to give those, I just can't remember off the top of my, we can give you the link and the phone number. What the committee recommended, which I think is different and related and really like a lovely suggestion that I've seen work, is actually inter-school kind of mentoring. And I know there are a couple of schools that have done various versions of this model, in addition to the whole idea of college knowledge being a curricula. So those are two really good practices that we're excited to work with. Also, Ms. Matthias and I spoke briefly after the last meeting about combining that conversation with several I've had with folks on this board about what more we can do collectively around College Bridge. You've raised it several times. So these work streams, we're excited to bring them all together and, have a, very clear plan that involves students. The board, I think, has lots of connections to mobilize here, so look for us to be having deeper conversations. We do pieces of this now, and certainly we support it. It's always been here. I think we feel like there's an opportunity to do even more if we're able to kind of combine these different work streams, if you will. And thank you for your leadership.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments from Mr. Plaza? Okay, we'll now move to item 10 on the agenda, our voting items. The first area is academic services. Resolution for approval of in-state, out-of-state field trips.
Move it.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Lewis,
Second.
second by Ms. Matthias.
This is this is a vote to approve the academic services item. Moved by Mr. Lewis, second by Ms. Matthias. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstain? Motion carries.
We will now move to the voting items for finance and operations. I would like to get a motion to approve items 1 through 12 and item 14, holding out item 13 for a separate vote.
I'm sorry, Madam
Motion,
Chair.
Mr. Jeffries.
Madam Chair.
Yeah,
Just,
we can take the motions on the floor, so we can take the second and then open up the question. Second, Mr. Lewis. Ms. Mathias?
no, I just wanted to know if you could restate the motion, which items?
Okay, the motion is to vote on items 1 through 12 and item 14. So separating item 13 for a separate vote.
Okay.
Moved by Jeffries, yes, and seconded by Mr. Lewis.
Further discussion, you ready to vote? Ready to vote? All right, so I have a motion for finance items 1 through 12 and number 14, holding out 13, moved by Jeffries, second by Mr. Lewis. Mr. Jeffries? Yes. Mr. Kenny?
Yes.
Dr. Lamore?
Yes.
Mr. Lewis?
Yes.
Ms. Mathias?
Yes.
Dr. McCreary?
Yes.
Ms. Perrella?
Yes.
Ms. Baskel-Richardson?
Yes,
Motion carries.
and may we now have a motion to vote on item number 13?
Move it.
Moved by Mr. Lewis,
Second.
second, Ms. Mathias.
We have a motion for finance item number 13, moved by Mr. Lewis, second by Ms. Mathias. Mr. Jeffries? Mr. Kenny?
Yes.
Dr. Lamore?
Yes.
Mr. Lewis?
Yes.
Ms. Mathias?
Yes.
Dr. McCreary?
Yes.
Ms. Perrella?
Yes.
Ms. Baskel-Richardson?
Abstain.
Thank you. Motion carries.
We'll now move to General Counsel Legal Services. There is one item, one voting item, reimbursement of federal and other grant expenditures policy. Are there any questions? Is there a motion?
Move it.
Moved by Mr. Lewis, seconded by Ms. Mathias.
This is a motion to vote on the reimbursement policy as set forth. Moved by Mr. Lewis, second by Ms. Mathias. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstain? Policy approved.
Thank you. We will now move to the public participation part of our meeting.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the public participation portion of the meeting. As a reminder, time limits for all speakers will be adhered to. There is no sharing or granting of speaking time to others. Speakers must be present when their name is called. All speakers are required to give their names and addresses. The public participation portion of the meeting is limited to 1 hour and 30 minutes. Examples of unacceptable behavior that are not permitted include but are not limited to naming district employees and engaging in personal attacks, slurs, excessive loudness, calling out, yelling, generally disruptive behavior, attempting to disrupt the meeting, or inciting others to do so. Public participation at board meetings is intended to allow individual members of the public the opportunity to address the board and administration on issues of public concern, not as a forum for two-way dialogue with board members. The superintendent or designee or chair may respond to questions either at the end of the session or responses may be provided at a later time. The superintendent, designee, or chair may interrupt any speaker or terminate any individual's privileges if the speaker's comments are disruptive or obscene. An individual may be cautioned that a personally directed statement may be slanderous or defaming, and the individual may be liable for his or her comments. Finally, attempts to hijack or filibuster the proceeding, repeated interrupting or badgering the chair or district officials, repetitive and truculent speech, or other disregard for rules of decorum are not tolerated and may subject the individual group for removal of the building. And if necessary, the meeting might be adjourned. Thank you. Okay, just as clarity, the motion that we had were two separate motions, one to vote on 1 through 12 and 14, the second one's on 13. Did anybody think that they were voting to take them as a group? Because we...
No.
Okay.
I'm good. I just want to make sure our record was clear.
The
because I
record
thought-
was
I
clear that,
thought-
is that right, Ms. Jones? We had two separate motions. The first was 1 through 12 and 14, and the second was 13 to vote on the merits. We didn't vote to take them separately.
Because normally our practice would be if. we're
Normally,
gonna-
that is our
To
practice,
change
but
the
that's,
order of
but
business. then
that is
you can
normally
do
the
it.
way we do it, but similar to the way we did the minutes,
Okay.
that's the way we did it
As
tonight.
long as our record is clear.
Okay.
I'm-
The record's clear on that, Ms. Jones, right? Thanks, that's okay. Now, thank you for raising that, Ms. Jeffers.
Thank you, Mr. Jeffries. Our first speaker is Jordan Roper. Is Mr. Roper here? Deborah Smith Gregory. Wafia Mohammed.
Wafia Muhammad, 273 Parsonage Road, Edison. With the name Allah, most gracious, most merciful, greetings of peace. Madam Chairperson, Baskerville Richardson, the Newark Public Schools Advisory Board, State Superintendent Cammie Anderson, good to see you. As the chairperson spearheading this effort, I'd like to thank you on behalf of the Muslim community for recognizing the seriousness of our request and responding to my many correspondences, both in a timely and professional fashion. At this time, I only have one request, and that is Newark Public Schools Advisory Board move forward with a resolution in support of Newark Public Schools closing for Eid al-Adha and Eid al-Fitr. Thank you.
Thank you. Majida Shariah.
Hello.
Good evening.
I also am here. Good evening, everyone.
Good
And
evening.
Assalamu alaikum to my fellow believers who are here. I'm also here in support of the schools closing for our religious holidays because as a former student of the Newark Public School System, it often would bother me that I would get marked absent for observing a religious holiday when my fellow classmates would have vacations surrounding theirs. So I think it would be important that we at least move forward with the motion to show that we can acknowledge those who are not Christian and those who are Muslim and have their holidays observed as well, because it shows some type of unity and understanding that everyone has their own particular religion that should be respected. So I think we should move forward with the motion as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Anwar Smith. Bahida Abdullah. Tariq Rahim.
Good evening.
Good evening.
That's Tariq Rahim, 25 Eastern Parkway, Newark, New Jersey. I serve as the convener for the Unified Eid Committee, and what we do is we host the annual religious holiday for thousands of Muslims in this area, and many come from New York, et cetera, et cetera. But that's not important. What is important is not even myself. You know, I can just take a personal day or what have you, and be there. For the last number of years, I've done that. And so has many staff members from Newark Public Schools. But there are 9,600 or more indigenous African-American students that attend Newark Public Schools, based on my estimates, and working with the imams, visiting the various masjids, and I don't claim to know all of the imams. I know them by face, but there's a number of other large communities of Muslims that are not necessarily African American that attend Newark Public Schools. They're from the Guyanese community, the Ghanaian community, the Pakistani community, the Palestinian community, and a growing Hispanic community that is practicing the Islamic faith. I'm reminded of a young man who turned their life around behind faith. And I'm also reminded of Imam W. Dean, White Dean Sharif, who does a lot of initiatives working with Jewish people, rabbis, Christian ministers, and traveling to Israel to do the interfaith thing. And I think that that's very important in terms of establishing equality for all of the children of Newark. That being said, we also know that there's some good brothers that are doing great works with saving lives that are of the Muslim faith, and every moment that they can do to reach one of those young people, like Ali Muslim Kwawi, who does the boxing program at the Salvation Army. The organization, like I think a representative just walked in, Father, Son, Men, and Boys, and many of these organizations reach those young brothers and change their lives. And just the one moment could do that. Lastly, I'll say this here. The request was made by Sister Wafia, who's done an excellent job at spearheading this here. It's been spearheaded since Brother Haka with the Marion Bolden administration. But I'd like to say this lastly in conclusion. I want to thank the advisory board, particularly Ms. Richardson, Altari Kenny, Marquise Lewis for hearing this here, and also would like to thank the superintendent for hearing and allowing me to come up here. We've been repetitive, but I remember as Dr. King talks about, we have to continue to be repetitive till we make some kind of change. And I'm hoping that this here falls on good ears and that we vote to do this. Thank you.
Thank you. Shamsuddin Smith.
Bismillah. Shamsuddin Smith, 25 Magnolia Lane, North New Jersey. Just want to say Bismillah. Peace be to the board, brothers and sisters. We as Muslims are dictated to do certain things. One of the things we are dictated to do by our Lord is to come together for Eid celebration as families, welcoming community, neighbors, friends, Christians, non-Muslims, all alike, to celebrate in this joyous occasion for us. Now you see the state of our communities today. Anything that would bind them together is needed, is pleaded for. This is what we're asking the board to do, to give us an opportunity to come together, the families, the children, the fathers, the mothers, the uncles, the grandparents. Even the board is invited to come to the Eid celebration. There's no dictation, whereas you do not have to participate in this. As a Muslim, you are bound by this, and our community is bound by this. And we seek the help of the board in making this a possibility so that the children may participate in this. Thank you.
Thank you. Amahula Smith. Anye Harris. Rashida Dawson. Jamal Mustafa. Imam Akbar Muhammad. Rakaya Lawrence.
Rakaya Lawrence, 250 Wainwright Street, North New Jersey. Good evening to the Newark Public School Advisory Board members, and assalamu alaikum to my fellow brothers and sisters. As a parent,
Good evening.
As a parent and a sibling of Newark Public School students, I believe it is imperative for the Newark Public School system to recognize the two Islamic holidays, Eid al-Adha and Eid al-Fitr, because it is a respected religion just like Christianity and Judaism, etc. The Islamic community makes up a large portion of the Newark population. I also believe by recognizing the two holidays, it will give all individuals an insight on our Islamic beliefs and customs. It will show the positive aspects of our religion instead of the negative assumptions that are placed upon the Muslim community by outsiders. Thank you.
Thank you. Zaid Boone. Zamaya Abdullah. Imam Shakur Abdurrahim. Safia Sharif.
Sophia Sharif, 107 Alexander Street. Assalamu alaikum, greetings, peace be upon you. What I found quite disturbing is that when I reached out to the district to ascertain some vital statistics on how many Muslim children and adults, including administrators, teachers, support staff, etc., were in the Newark Public Schools, that information was unavailable. So my question would be, how can an educational institution serving hundreds of thousands of children not know who they are, what they believe, how they live, their lives? Who is this human being that I'm responsible for helping develop? Our dilemma today is that technology is outdistancing our humanity, and this country is experiencing a spiritual devastation of its high morals, beliefs, and honored traditions that taught humanity by demonstrating respect, love, compassion, regardfulness, kindness. Our Eids are celebrations after very meaningful lessons are practiced and learned, such as constant devotion, restraint, patience, consideration, hunger, thirst, struggle, mindfulness, charity, etc. These celebrations or holidays are spent first in prayer and thankfulness to the Creator, and then families come together to show their love and appreciation for the children with gifts and games, families feasting and inviting non-Muslim family and friends to participate in a very happy and joyous day. The honorable request before you is long overdue and is most certainly just as deserving as the Christian and Jewish holidays that have been afforded the same recognition. Our Muslim public school staff should not have to use their personal time, and nor should students be charged with an unexcused absence. Let this honorable advisory board make history by fully supporting and approving, along with our public school superintendent, that Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha be added to the Newark Public Schools calendar 2013, 2014, and every year thereafter. Thank you.
Thank you. Gwen Cherry. Antar Mateen.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lahu wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu sallallahu alayhi wa sallam amma ba'd. I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and I bear witness that Muhammad is the last messenger. Dear believers, family, friends, advisory board, guests, I greet you in the humblest greeting of peace of Assalamu alaikum. I'm here today on behalf of myself, Masjid Imam Ali K. Muslim, and Imam Dr. Abdul Akbar Muhammad, who wasn't able to attend. And I'm here to move the motion that we have our two most important holidays on a Newark public school calendar, because I remember coming up in school. I didn't go to the public school, but I came up in the faith, in the Islamic faith, where I didn't have to worry about taking days off. because it was in my curriculum already. But I understand the importance of what Sister Wafia is fighting for and how we should have those days off to recognize and to really understand the importance of having to celebrate the fast of Eid al-Adha and then Eid al-Fitr with the sacrifice is very important to us. Just like the other faiths had their important holidays, I'm not going to get into the religions, but I want to understand that if those holidays wasn't on that calendar, it'd be there within the next couple months, and we wouldn't have to go through a board. So all I'm saying is that we have to go ahead and move with it at your approval, because it's just showing that it's being disrespectful, in my opinion, that we can't honor it. I greet you all in peace, and I'm asking, not begging, I'm asking that you guys recognize it and respect us, and that we'll have a peaceful understanding, and that you all accept it for what it is. I greet you. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you. Next speaker, Lucius Jones. Vanessa Roper.
I would also like to say my daughter Jordan was scheduled to testify, and she is here to testify before you guys, so I hope you will give her an opportunity to present her case to you guys. One of the things that I'm here to talk to you guys about today.
I'm sorry, Mr. Roper, excuse me. I know you know that we know who you are, but I still need you just for the record to say your name and address.
Vanessa Roper, 31 Halsted Street, Newark, New Jersey,
Thank you.
07106. Is to talk to you guys about community relations. Now, about 10 to 15, 20 years now, we've been having a problem with community relations and with parental involvement. And it is my opinion that parental involvement is necessary, is needed, and it should be mandatory as far as I'm concerned. Community relations have not did their job. You have community relations working with token parents who have paid monies to take care of their families' tuition to go to college out of PTA money. I reported to the district. District does nothing. You have nothing but scandals with parent organizations. 80% of them in Newark Public Schools, and that's under Essex County PTA or New Jersey PTA is not even complying. And we have nothing but a bunch of fraud. Now it has come to my attention that you have community relations playing a role in of a president's removal, because guess what? They really don't want parental involvement. Now I'm asking, and I have nothing but the respect for the principal of the two schools that I'm going to ask. And if I'm not telling the truth, then prove me wrong and present your records. I'm asking the district to investigate Science Park PTA records, financial reports. I'm also asking for Quitman's report, and this has nothing to do with the principal. It's the people that have been running their organizations and have ran these organizations underground and have paid, and we have parents, so-called volunteers, paying for their children to go to colleges or paying their tuitions, also paying to take their children on tours with PTA money. This is now personal. And I've asked the district to do some things. Oh, that's a parent problem. And what does community relations do? You're talking and dealing with the same people that are teaching these people how to run parent organizations underground. Now, now listen, I have the NJPTA president saying that we don't need clergy in our building. Now that done started a fight that has not escalated yet. Now, I've been talking with other clergy, and there will be more coming to the table. Does Newark Public Schools support parental involvement, or do you not? Or you're just going to have a bunch of token so-called directors and personnel running around here saying we want parental involvement, and you know that the civil service list controls your parent liaison list. So where do we get parental involvement? So I'm asking for these investigations. If I'm a liar, then open up your records and let the truth be known that there's been embezzling going on, not only at Alexander Street School, but at the other school that I named also. So I'm going to stop right now. Hopefully you give my daughter an opportunity. She has her own situations that need to be dealt with. I can assure you, community relations, you're going to do your job, or we want your resignation.
Thank you, Mr. Roper. Wilhelmina Holder?
Excuse me, board.
Is Jordan here now?
Excuse me.
Yes, sir.
My name is not Wilhelmina. But listen, I'm Imam Shakur Abdurrahim. My family, we were caught in traffic, and we had just walked in as you called our name. Would it be possible for us to take 2 minutes to say something?
If I don't have a problem,
Okay.
what is your name?
Imam Shakur Abdurrahim
Number what?
and Zaima
Number
and
17?
Zaid.
I'm sorry, what? If you don't mind, the appropriate thing for me to do would be to
Yes,
call you at the end of the list.
Sure. Thank you so much.
Sure. Is Jordan here?
Good afternoon, everyone. Superintendent Anderson, Advisory Board members. My name is Jordan Roper. Today I'm here to talk to you about Alexander Street School. One of the things I have problem with is blanket punishment. The teachers are still punishing the whole class for the actions of a few students. If any students act up, everyone gets blamed. Why should students behave themselves if the teachers are not going to be fair? They even take away our electives, meaning we can't go nowhere, we sit down and do nothing. Moreover, we are also having problems with our after-school program. Students are hanging in the bathrooms and wandering the buildings. The teachers and security are allowing adults in the building without permission. My father reported this to the principal in October, and nothing has changed. January 17, 2013, a teacher called me a coward, a nigger, and he told me when I grow up, I will be a drug dealer and a nobody. I told my parents what this teacher said to me. I tried to contact the principal by phone, and she haven't returned their phone call yet. I told my father this is disrespectful, and this is how they talk to us at Alexander Street School. I have no intention of becoming a drug dealer, but in the next 15 to 20 years, I expect to be that teacher's superior supervisor and do things he has not been doing. That begins with educating children to bring them up and not down. Thank you very much.
Good evening, Wilhelmina Holder.
Sorry, one
I'm
moment,
sorry, just a
sorry, I
minute,
apologize.
Ms. Holder.
Jordan, just wanted to let you know that the assistant superintendent that supervises Alexander is present, and I'm certain he would be happy to speak to you afterwards to ensure we follow up in a timely fashion.
Good evening, Wilhelmina Holder, 204 Eastern Parkway, Newark, New Jersey. I certainly support Jordan and hope that teachers be removed immediately, as well as any supervisors that have not dealt with that situation. And if that means the principal, then he or she too needs to be removed, because that is outrageous. And that's in support of her. I came about the issue that I brought up at the business meeting, Superintendent, and that is, of course, we're concerned about the park, the high school exit exam that they're preparing for now, and the lack of technology. I brought this up because I happen to know that technology is not up to date in most of our schools, including the middle schools, and that we have the greatest concern for these children. So I'd like to have a plan laid out by the next board meeting in terms of school by school. We don't want it ward the way you usually report out. We need to know school by school in terms of the technology and the preparation, including the certified teachers or lack thereof, because there's a lot of lack thereof in these schools, because our children are being prepared to fail. And I can see the train wreck. We don't have to wait for this. We don't need experts to come in. We don't need any more paid consultants who can't find their way down to 2 Cedar Street from this school. We need some data that needs to be shared with the board members as well as the general public and the parents, because this is where we can help you. But by the lack of information and the fact that you don't share the information with the board members and you don't respond to the public and you don't respond to the parents, we need this information now, or perhaps we need a change of administration, because our children are being set up to fail. I know, and you cannot tell me that our schools are prepared technology. I read the report by the, and one reason we didn't get the Race to the Top funds is because they doubted the capacity of the district to comply with some of the things that you indicated that were going to happen in the timely fashion. We don't have a lot of time to play with our children's lives, at least all my grandchildren, so therefore I'm requesting that the board demand a response from you to be shared in a public forum like this, school by school, ward by ward, in terms of the technology starting in the elementary school all the way through the high school and the teacher preparation. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Holder. Lyndon Brown.
Good evening, Lyndon Brown, 220 South 6th Street, Newark, and Happy New Year to everyone.
Happy New Year.
As we enter the second half of the 2012-2013 school year, let me take a moment to reflect on the first 5 months. Since September, we experienced tremendous problems with transportation for our special needs students, 504 accommodations, and IP mandates. Since September, many of our students have had substitutes since the first day of school, and parents have yet to be notified that their children don't have a highly qualified teacher in the classroom, as mandated under No Child Left Behind. As I look through the board minutes tonight, I see numerous resignations, which leads to the need to provide more professional development in the areas of classroom management and cultural competency. We have many people coming to our district to work who don't know the cultural diversity of this community, and they can't relate to our children, and then they make a quick exit in the middle of the school year, which results in substitutes in some of our classrooms for the rest of the school year. So we need to have more cultural competency training and professional development, as well as classroom management. To our student representative, some of your comments tonight were well noted. However, I also think that some of our middle school students need to have some of our high schoolers relate to them and speak to them and share their experiences, the challenges that they should expect and opportunities that they should expect in high school. I think that would be a great benefit to them, especially you, young man. I think you're doing a phenomenal job. In closing, I want to commend some of our schools who hosted some really awesome and dynamic holiday concerts that included yoga, poetry, dance, and singing. I made my rounds during the month of December. I went to Peshon Avenue, who held a wonderful evening concert that was packed and included staff, parents, and students. Even the school principal danced in the concert finale. I was very impressed with that. Lafayette Arts High School, Dr. Horton, Roberto Clemente, L.A. Spencer, and Luis Munoz Marin were other schools that I visited. Their concerts were great, and I commend the music departments of those schools and those students. I hope the remainder of the school year will be focused on student achievement and school safety. This past 2 weeks, we've had some schools practicing lockdown procedures, which were just horrendous. We need professional development for our teachers who can turn keys for our students what a lockdown should look like. You have students who, even after the lights were turned off, went back and turned them back on and said it was too dark in here. You had teachers going back to open the doors when people came around and knocked on the door, not knowing what the procedures should be. So we need some professional development for lockdown, especially in light of what just happened in Connecticut and California. We need a uniform sign-out procedure for all of our preschool students. What happened last week at Boylan, I believe, where a student went home with a stranger, should not happen. Every preschooler should be signed out by a parent or guardian, so that does not happen again. And that should happen across the district, not just at one or two particular schools. We need to ensure the safety of our children. My question also tonight that I want to leave with you is, when will our high school applications be available for our 8th graders? They have yet to be able to access them on the web. And so many of our students end up seeking high schools outside of the district, because they are the ones who give early access to applications and early access and early admission. So we need to make sure our high school applications are up on our website so that our school students can access them. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Janice Reedus. Sean Williamson.
Good evening, board members.
Good
Happy
evening.
New Year to you. This might take a little bit more than 3 minutes, but this is important.
I'm
But I have to
sorry,
get
sir, excuse me, and I understand that you're prefacing it with that, but we really do have to hold to the 3 minutes. Thank
Well,
you.
I'll get out as much as I can.
Thank you, sir.
Sean Williamson, 56 South 14th Street, Newark, New Jersey. First off, in order of the Islamic community, that should be a process that should be moved on, because if everybody else can have their holidays, they should have the respect of their holidays also. Also, in regards to the situation about these schools, what the point that I'm trying to say is that if y'all going to be closing down public schools and blending these students together, which is a very hard thing to do, we should have a system in place where we shouldn't have to fire a principal in the middle of the school year. We should have things in place at the beginning of September, so we don't have substitute teachers quitting, leaving. This is unorganized, and that's not fair to our children. And y'all saying that y'all want to help out, with the parents, and we're here to help you, the ones that are available, but y'all have no access to let us know what's going on. My daughter didn't have a teacher for 2 months, and I was not notified at all until it was report card time. And I don't think that's fair to me. I'm on the PTA right now for the 13th Avenue School, and this is my first year, and I've been dealing with y'all since October of 2011 to try to save Martin Luther King School, which y'all haven't you haven't contacted me, emailed me, nothing to tell me anything about how to stop these schools from closing. We have kids that's on the honor roll. They can teach each other, the ones that are failing, how to pass the state minimum tests. We have a lot of ideas that y'all have not once tried to communicate with the public to find out what's the best thing to do so we can stop public schools from closing. If we was to double park to pick our kids up, we get a ticket. I see all these charter schools, I can't even get down the block to go home because they're double parked, and they're there for a long time. I mean, the state supposed to have took over this Newark system, and they're not doing a good job. And y'all supposed to be backing us up, and our word are not being heard. We can't even get the governor here in Newark to even speak to us. And the special education department. You know what I mean? My son have to go to West Orange School because there's no qualified special education teacher here in Newark for my son to go to a Newark school. And I mentioned that once before for the past year and a half, and I have not got not one response yet. Now, if I can't get a response, or if one of y'all to at least pick up a phone to call me or to email me, y'all should give up y'all resignations, because this doesn't make any sense. That I work, and I would take a day off when y'all call me to come to the school. I'm a concerned parent, and I'm there every day, but y'all have not got in touch with me not once, every day. I don't even know half the curriculums that y'all up here passing because y'all, because I don't understand, because y'all haven't called me, y'all haven't said anything to me. And so if the things don't change, I might have to, go to the news station or something to get something changed, because this don't make any sense. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Williamson. Renata Ford. Renata Ford. Togo Josa.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Togo Josa. I live in 1302 9th Street, Norberg, New Jersey. I barely painted for 13 years. I'm Barry. Mr. Lisa, he have the same problem. He want to see if I can step up with him. He got limited English. He can explain.
Yes, you may.
I'm the next one after him.
So you're going to assist him, is what you're saying?
I'm going to assist him. We going together. We have the same situation.
I'm sorry.
David Medina.
Okay, but it's actually separate speaking time, so if you're saying the same thing, actually, you could just speak, or if you need to assist him, you can do that, and then you speak.
Just speak. Just go for both.
That's fine.
Okay. My name is David Medina, 178 Hudson Street, Newark, New Jersey. We've both been working at the Board of Education for 13 years as a per diem painters. The past 2 years, we've been facing a lot of problems with our new acting supervisor painters that he's been pushing us on the side. You know, we are hardworking guys. Every year, every summer, we're hard to get the schools ready for the kids and safe and clean. And Mr. Alvarez, the past 2 years.
Excuse me, sir. I'm going to stop you now, only because we really seriously have to insist that you don't say the name of employees. And let me finish. And I hear everything that you're saying, but I would also at this point, you can certainly continue to speak if you don't say names, or perhaps someone could speak to you at the end of the meeting, and it might be more productive than speaking now. I'm not telling you not to speak, but someone would certainly speak to you at the end of the meeting if you'd like.
We can do that. So can I continue speaking? Or?
Yes, you may, but please just don't say employee names.
So,
Thank you.
Our supervisor, the new acting supervisor, past 2 years, had all the power to keep the per diems. Every year they keep at least 4 per diems. Lately, these past 2 years, he's been pushing us on the sides and bringing his friends in with less experience, less skills than us, and it's not fair to us that we've been working here for so many years and doing such a good job for the board, and we really care what we do. Mr. Alvarez, the supervisor is really get us out. So, and also because we work with African Americans, permanent workers, the supervisor is very concerned that he had a division with the department, that he doesn't like a group of workers, and also us, we've been labeled as Cocolo lovers, which mean black lovers. So, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. And again, if you remain, I'm sure someone will speak to you after the meeting. Next speaker, Mark Willis. Isaac Lane. Donnell McKay. Katone Harris.
Good evening. My name is Katone Harris. I live at 10A Roosevelt Avenue, Carteret, New Jersey. I'd like to say good evening to Superintendent Cammie Anderson, board members,
Good evening.
colleagues, and community. I'm basically here for inequities in the workplace. My name, I've worked with the Newark Public Schools Facilities Department for the past 18 years. During my 18 years of service here, past practice has taught me that seniority was always the format in which the district went by when promotional opportunities from within became available in the facilities department. Here's my concern. A little over 2 years ago, the paint foreman became vacant. Paint foreman position became vacant, excuse me. I'm a little nervous. Customarily, when this happens, the vacancy is usually rotated among the top two to three candidates, so long as each of them has a work history here at NPS in good standing. Right now, I share as the top senior painter throughout the district, along with another fellow coworker. With this said, here is just a quick snapshot of what my accomplishments and highlights during my 18 years of service. I have a long-term work history in good standing. I have the customary seniority required for the position of paint foreman selection. I have my bachelor's degree in management. I'm just a thesis away from my master's in organizational leadership. I successfully filled in as building manager for the South region on more than one occasion. I have successfully filled in for building manager for the East region. Before I go on any further, I'd just like to conclude. I also successfully filled in as supervisor of trades in the South region. I have also been honored from the previous superintendent, Dr. Clifford B. Janey, for the work I've done here in the district. I also supervised 24-man painting crew for the preparation and arrival of President Bill Clinton, musical artist Mariah Carey, and musical artist India Arie. I'm going to stop my highlights there. What I'm here to ask the board tonight is, with all that, I want to go one step further. Yet I haven't even filled in as the paint foreman that is vacant for the past 2.5 years in the district. I was told that this would happen, but this never materialized. Unfortunately, there has been several co-workers of mine who have filled in this position on more than one occasion. However, I'm just seeking basically an equal opportunity to be provided with that same type of experience. I have more, but time is.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Harrison Hogue.
Bismillah. Assalamu alaikum. First, I would like to state that I'm in agreement with them adding the 2 holidays on. And Harrison Hogue, 34 Daston Avenue, Newark, New Jersey. I'd like to start the same thing with inequities and facilities management. I'll start by saying that employers' written policy are derived from notions of due process and fundamental fairness. That is, an employee is entitled to the notice in writing and the rules and regulations of the workplace. The same employee is entitled to have such policies not only communicated in writing, but also enforced in a consistent and clear fashion by management. And I would like to say that selective enforcement creates disparaging treatment. Some of the managers and supervisors in facilities, by their own admissions, fail to document even the most significant events in the workplace. Likewise, some managers and supervisors, by their own admissions, have stated in the past that they receive virtually no training as to the state and federal laws they're expected to follow in the workplace, such as collective bargaining agreements. So we have as a system where managers are promoted to the positions in place with no substantive training of any type in regard to management, supervision, or employment laws that they're bound to follow. They have no knowledge of virtually any anti-discrimination laws. And like I would like to say for some of the coworkers that work with us over the years, people are handpicked to stay, and it's not fair, and it causes oppression, and it separates the workplace. And part of being in management is having team players and being able to work together as a team. And we have supervisors that has no knowledge of it, and by showing favoritism, it's creating a disparagement about us as employees. They have no type of, what you call, experience or training in dispute resolutions or anything. And my next thing, basically getting upon about the written policies is, I'm requesting a copy of the, what you call it, nepotism or conflict of interest policy that the district has. I would also like a copy of the attendance and the tardiness policy. And I also would act to, if there exists, I would like a copy of the Cronus policy. And I want to speak about the Cronus policy in general because we have a Cronus system that was put in, I think, by Mr. Janey to document and monitor employees coming in and out and tardiness and lateness. But what you have here is a system where we have managers who have authorization to manipulate the Chrono system, and if they're tardy, they just simply change it or add a comment meaning forgot to scan, unable to scan, excused by administrator, and basically it's a theft of time. And they selectively enforce who they want to charge with these charges, meaning if you're not in their team, if you're not in their plan, and that's theft of time. That's bigger than that, because like I said, I study law a little. I'm not but I know it's wages and means departments that can handle that, and they have all kinds of federal funds. When you get funds and you're getting it, they're supposed to be applied applicably. And I've reached out numerous times and tried to reach that. I even tried to reach out to Mr. Anderson. Ms. Anderson, I sent something to contact super. I haven't gotten any response. I sent something to, I went through the affirmative action, and it was what you call thrown to the side. And I just want this to be approached because it's unfair. We have people not being given a chance, like I was saying, our per diems not getting a chance to move up. And also, like I said, I came from Newark. I was educated in Newark. I'm a product of Newark. I had a chance to come in and make money in the facilities. And while they're disparaging them, they're also disparaging all the youth in the community too as well, but not giving them a chance to equally apply for jobs instead of going to college or joining the Army. They should be able to join facilities also. That's it.
Thank you. Mary Jo Kelly.
Good evening, Advisory Board. I appreciate your staying this late and listening to our, actually to our requests. And you're looking at me like our, but I'm not here alone. Up there I have some parents. I had 2 parents that left because they had to do a condolence call. These are not the same parents that went to the last advisory meeting, and they're not the same parents that came to the CPAC. So what's going on? Well, we at Bruce Street really, really need a parent liaison. That position is not filled. Bruce Street School, the parent liaison needs to relay information, not just between the school and the parents, but between the parents and the school. We teach our children sign language. We need to teach our parents to communicate with them. This job has fallen onto the parent liaison, and in the past that has been done very, very successfully. So it's very imperative that the parent liaison be able to communicate fluently in sign language. Not only to sign with their students, but also to sign with several of the parents who are deaf. Aren't these parents who are deaf required to be served? And right now they are not. Bruce Street School students come from all over the city. We have a big population of Hispanic students. Many of the students come from neighborhoods where families speak Spanish. Having to accept the fact that your child is deaf when you're a hearing person is difficult enough. But to be struggling with a language barrier, it makes it all worse. It would be ideal if our parent liaison could also speak Spanish with our parents. Coming to this meeting tonight alone, I've gotten 3 calls from Spanish-speaking parents. I wish I could have talked to them and told them what was going on. That's just why we have this tremendous need. Back in 1983, yes, 30 years ago, nearly November of 1983, we had the good fortune to hire Yvette Gonzalez. She was hired as our bilingual community aide. Ms. Gonzalez learned to sign while working as this aide position, and she would assist in the classroom and serve as our Spanish translator as the school needed it. Ms. Gonzalez had been our school's much-needed translator for nearly these 30 years. In 2006, when Dr. Jackson, the principal of the school, needed a parent liaison, Ms. Gonzalez was his go-to person. She accepted the position and did extremely well. She ran parent workshops and made sure all parents had access to information. So what I'm asking you today is, how could someone who's been here for 30 years be bumped? We were very much surprised. But bumped by someone who has no skills, no signs, no ability to talk to our children, no ability to talk to our parents. Since then, we've had no Newark Public School employees available to translate for us. In fact, I had a parent come to me, a Spanish-speaking parent come to me as a teacher of a 6th grade class, and wanting to know why her child was being bullied. We had no one available to interpret it for her. They had to pull a person from the charter school to come to and translate for her. I just think that's not acceptable. I think as a person who's been at Bridge Street School for more than 30 years, that I feel we need to service our parents. We've done it better in the past, and we could do it better again. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.